Hi there, and welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka Mini Wargaming Kris, aka The Name Butcher, aka Hey You, get out of here. Way of the Brush is the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and pretty much everything under the sun. It's usually a lot of painting, and it's usually a whole lot of what's under the sun. Hopefully we do learn something, but hopefully we have some laughs along the way as well. I prefer to learn something while laughing, as usually sticks in people's brains when you usually can have a laugh about something or at someone. Try not to laugh at people, but I laugh at myself all the time, so it's okay every once in a while, I suppose. I can see a lot of regulars already joining us today. I can see Lazy Monkey checking in early. Heidi Kris passes around a bowl of popcorn. Jim White, good morning. Thanks for the popcorn. Knit Fink, hello everyone. Hello Knit Fink. The barfing sheep. Okay, the barfing sheep. Hello Kris. Hello everyone. Hello. Francis Desjardins. Desjardins. I think that's how you say that last name. Francis? Yeah. Hello, Brush Monkeys. Hello, Brush Monkeys. Brush Monkeys. Brush Monkeys. Tolo. 106 FM. Afternoon all. Oh, I get it. He's on the, like, it sounds like, I guess, like it's a radio thing, episode 106. FM. Dot, whatever. I don't know. I think Tolo's got to ease up on his meds. Tolo. Hate that I can't max screen till the stream starts. Lazy Monkey Patience. The magic will start soon, and it will be metal. Omega Halo. Oh, I haven't heard that name before. Omega Halo. Evening. Evening, lads. Evening. He reads like I talk. Evening. Good spelling on my part. Ishyab, great to be in the Monkey Forest yet once again. Good day to all. Aloha, Kris B from Sammy C. Hey, that rhymes. Kris B from Sammy C. Dave Taylor, hey monkeys. Omega Halo, what project is everyone working on? Interesting. What is everyone working on? I know around here, everybody's been kind of sick. Everybody in the mini wargaming crew has been passing around an illness or something. I don't know what it is, but holy man. Everybody's getting ill. You can hear I'm still a little bit froggy in my throat, and I was sick a few weeks ago and got sick again, and man, I don't know what it is. Because I never get sick. Knock on wood. But man, hate being sick. I hate it. Hate it. I'm using the word hate here, people. Hate. Eric's Coin, hey monkeys, hey Kris. Clayton Tate, hey monkey, yo monkeys. I'm looking on a SAGMAC for 40k to go with a 40k escalation league going on in my group. I'm working on a SAGMAC. What's a SAGMAC? What's a SAGMAC, Clayton? Yeah, I'm working on some Bane Thralls and Bane Knights for a buddy. Oh, I hate those things. Bane Knights or Bane Thralls. Building and painting. Hope to have them posted on feedback for all you in the next few weeks. Ishyab, ooh, that's War Machine Cricks. The Barfing Sheep got some Blood Angel Dreadnought bits and bobs that I am painting. Bits and bobs. I understand what's the bits, but what's the bobs? Omega Hello. Nice. All sounds pretty interesting. I have one myself. Oh, man. I myself had an entire Tyranid army to work on. Managed to get 200 pound plus worth of models for less than 100 pounds on eBay for some smart bidding. Cool. Yeah, that's a deal, man. 200 pound, 200 British pound to Canadian dollar. That's like $400, over $400. And $400 Canadian doesn't really get you that far as, I mean, it gets you a little ways, I suppose. It gets you started into an army. But it's not going to get you too far into an army. Whereas 200 British, I mean, picking up some stuff, oh yeah, that's a good deal. Kurt Kershon, good morning, peeps. Good morning. Mark Hill, there he is, Mark Hill. GS Squared, there he is, just made it. I have to leave early. Oh, that's too bad. Well, I'll catch you later on, I guess. Paul0132, working on some Dark Elder still. Finecast makes me angry. Now, why would Finecast make you angry? Is it because it's really delicate and it just kind of smushes under your fingers? Or is it because it's got really fine details that it'll smush under your fingers? Is it because over room temperature, it'll kind of melt in your fingers? Is it because... I can't imagine why anybody doesn't like Finecast. No, I mean, Finecast is just a resin. I mean, it's just, it is really delicate stuff. And you do have to treat it quite delicately. I don't know why. They didn't just go with resin. And it seems like it was an overreaction to, like, pewter, right? Because that's why they switched to the Finecast. It's because pewter was getting too expensive to ship across the ocean. And so they wanted something lighter. And so all the pewter models got switched to this resin, this Finecast. But Finecast, it's like air. It's like light as air. And yeah, I mean, it's like it holds on to details really, really well. I mean, it's delicate stuff. I mean, it has like very little give to it. I mean, even know how soft it is, really. But like it's so delicate. I mean, like you can just smush the models into your fingers and like, it's crap. But anyway, but yeah, it seems like an overreaction. Like, if they're gonna charge us so much for this, let's make stuff that like weighs essentially nothing. Let's make something that weighs nothing, and we'll ship that across the damn rivers. And so, hello. Oh, somebody here. Mike. Oh, Mike.
Sorry, hey. How you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Steve.
Oh, sorry. Is Steve in?
Yeah, Steve's in his office.
Hey, I was hearing
People being late for their games. Anyway, yeah, so Finecast. Bad stuff. Interruptions. Love them. Threw me right off track there. Where are we? Barfing Sheep at Omega Halo eBay deals good stuff. Saved about 100 poundish on some Spezmarines. Nag Laraf, hello monkeys, hello Nag. Dr. Santos, hello people. Alucard 869 shows it going. Anyone else excited about the new Wolfen? The new Wolfen, I don't know if I'm particularly fond of them. I mean, all the pictures I've seen, they look kind of all right. They're a little bit more dynamic looking than the original Wolfen models that got sculpted. The original Wolfen models look kind of like, more like bear, like kind of, like they had big puffy fur to them, right? Whereas these newer ones, they seem a little bit more lithe, They have some more length to their limbs and... they seem a little bit more visually interesting, a little bit more dynamic in their poses. But I don't know if I'm behind the whole look of them all. I don't know. I have to see. I guess I have to see one in my hands. And I've already got a box coming in. So, because a few questions have popped up for the quick tips. Doing some, the Wolfen, doing the transitions in the fur and stuff like that. So, yeah, you guys can expect to see some of that in the near future. But yeah, so I'll be getting the models. Am I going to start like a Space Wolf army, or am I going to add these to Space Wolf? No, I don't think so. Not me. Not right now. Danish artist. Greetings, people. Greetings, Danish. Lucien Valencer. Sup, monkeys. Kilo 8878. Hey, Kris and all the monkeys. Hey. David Taylor, ease up and take more. David Taylor, is it an STD? I don't know if it's an STD. I assume that's what he's talking about. Omega Halo. For the record, Kris, I have watched your shows before, but I've just changed channels. I used to be O'Malley666. Okay. Eric's Coin. Finished my Skaven 1500 point army today. Nice. Tolo, it's Ebola for everyone. Yeah, it could very well be Ebola for all I know. Oh, I know. Lazy monkey. Too much mini sniffing. Everyone's sick now. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we're all sniffing the minis. We were all sniffing the minis, and we all got sick. We all got sick from sniffing minis. That seems very plausible to me. Papa Nurgle visiting. Yeah, that could be very well it too. Prawn Ham Dance. Working on mounting some Betrayal at Calf Marines on cork. Very cool. Good way to, mount models. Really, when you're mounting the models to the cork, it's so that you can paint the base separately from the model. And of course, if you're airbrushing as well, you're gonna be airbrushing. Most people don't attach the models to cork if they're brush painting. Usually, of course, like I said, they want to keep the model separate from the base, so they're doing something. But it's a really great way of, like if you're doing zenithal highlighting, you can also do some light sourcing, say right from the bottom. Say, for example, like there was an orb on the base, and it was like glowing, and the model is like standing over it, and so you want to have like an underglow. Then that's a really great way of, getting that done. As long as, the model's separate from the base. Otherwise, if the model's already there, then, you got to work your way around. You got to kind of finagle it, and it's a pain. The Mobius, way of the brush. Isaac Neal, what up? What up? Nothing, just doing the show. Legion Painting, I'm alive. I keep missing the show and have missed like 6 in a row, but now I'm here. Well, welcome. Welcome back. Nicholas Allen just started a Spartan Assault Tank. Damn, the tank is big. A little intimidating. The Spartan Assault Tank, which one's that one? I don't know. David Taylor, I don't understand the hate for Finecast. I prefer it over metal. It is easier to convert over metal. I just found that, because it was so delicate, like it was easy to like break the details off. Like I had Asterath. And he's got his axe, and it's all one piece, and his axe goes like back, and he's like holding it over his head like that, and that broke in 3 places on me. It broke in 3 places, and I was not happy about it, and it basically kind of just turned me off of painting the model, having to have it fix all that. Oh, excuse me, I need a little sip of coffee. It's coffee. Wargrin, good morning, Mr. Kris, and fellow Monkey Brothers. The Mobius. Finecast is definitely light as air. In fact, you don't weigh it down. It has a bit of habit of floating off. Ishab. Lovely intercom system, Kris. We have that in my home, too. You scream, it's the phone free. Yeah, I know that's what we should have an intercom here. But you'd constantly hear that thing going off in the background. And then, of course, people would start screwing around with it, too. More often than not, you'd have us just screwing around with an intercom service inside here. Anyway, basically, everybody just talking trash to each other back and forth. Alexander Marcel. Hey, Kris, made it just a bit late. Well, welcome. Nicholas Allen. I hate the new Wolfen models. They look like they're wearing power jorts. What's power jorts? Is that like power shorts? I don't know what power jorts are. I don't know what that means. Holy man. I'm like way behind in these things. The Mobius, Kris has smallpox or the bubonic plague. That's very possible. Unlikely, but very possible. I don't think so. Because, I mean, I got better, and then I got ill again. I don't know how. A different thing. Like, it was like fever, and my joints and everything ached up, and I just, like, crawled into bed, and I slept for 24 hours, and I felt all right afterwards. But, yeah, now it's like, oh, my God. And so, yeah. Dave Taylor, Kris might have my PC virus. Ha ha ha. PC virus. Yeah, so it's completely sucks when everybody, and of course you have everybody in the office and everybody's in close proximity and everybody gets sick, and so, you know, bah. Johann Hanspack. Finally, the live show works for Germany too. Oh, really? The show's working in Germany now. That's very interesting because I know for a long time the show wasn't working for Germany. I don't know why this wouldn't work, but that's very interesting now. Interesting. Ishab, Kris, please plug your custom model holders to provide a link where we can buy them. Will it be off your YouTube site and or the mini wargaming site? I think the handles. Where are they? I know we've been talking about these things for a while here. So when you order them, you get a little thing like this, right? Open it up, just like Christmas, and you get. Anybody who's ever seen the quick tips and stuff like that, you know, you've seen the little handle that I'm always holding the model. And these things are really great for small base 40K size all the way up to Terminator size on this side, as well as medium sized bases in War Machine, and then larger on this side. It's all nice and smooth here on this side as well. And it's got a nice little grip, so you can grip onto it. These, I think I'll be selling through the mini wargaming store. I just haven't gotten through the final little. We just me and Matt just haven't sat down and hashed out all the details of it all. But yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen there is we'll be selling those through the mini wargaming store. Just so that, you know, it helps, you know, with exposure as well. You know, that way it comes. I mean, not everybody knows who I am, but at least everybody knows who, you know, I am through mini wargaming. You know, go, ooh, okay, well, yeah, maybe I'll buy one, and then, you know, buy one. We can hope anyway. Omega Halo. Oh, you're a Maiden fan, aren't you, Kris? They're my favorite band. What's your favorite song and album? From Maiden? Oh, man. Oh. Jeez. Favorite Maiden song and album? Trooper. Yeah. Fear of the Dark. Brave New World. That's about it, man. Brave New World, I guess. Brave New World. I actually like the live rendition from, I think, Rock in Rio, and yeah, I like how it sounds live. I wish Iron Maiden is one of those bands that I'd love to catch like live, but yeah. Brave New World, probably one of my favorite newer Iron Maiden songs. Yeah. I know that probably doesn't quite answer the question. Favorite. It's hard to pick a favorite because I mean it's all really good stuff. Brave New World, probably Brave New World. Because that song I can just fucking air and just crank it every day. Yeah. Where are we? David Taylor, Kris, the Eldar Farsi arrived. Woo. Right on. Cork, trying to watch your show while I paint, but there's some guy in the other room who won't shut up. Shut up. I remember seeing Maiden, rock. Oh man, I can't even say that word. There's when they released Brave New World. It was awesome. Yeah, I like that. I see this. See, this is Quark. Well, what the heck? It says Quark, but Quark's right over there. He can't be here. He's there.
If I'm you, who's me? I'm you, but I'm me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all messed up now. Isaac Neal, am I too young to understand this Maiden talk? No, you're never too young to get into Maiden, because Maiden's really is one of those bands that their music is, it's a heavy metal, but like I'm 24. No, you're not. You're in fact you're at the right age to get into Iron Maiden. I mean, it's just one of those. They're just one of those bands that are just really, really great. Great music, great lead singer. Um, and I mean, if you're into all this painting and 40K-ness and stuff like that, man, they should be right up your alley as far as the imagery and the mood and yeah, it's good stuff. Start right from the beginning though, right from the early stuff. Yeah. When did I start? Stranger? Yeah, Stranger in a Strange Land. About when I started. And then his seventh son. Anyway. Man, all these comments are flying right by now. Prawn Ham Dance, episode 106. You're never too young to run to the hills. Yeah, exactly. Barfing Sheep, yeah. I've been listening to Maiden since I was 9. Yeah, there you go. See? No, Maiden's one of those bands because I mean the other thing is that Maiden, I mean they're just very accessible because there's not like the ideas are not overtly challenging in the songs. Some are, but most of the time they're not. And there's usually not a lot of swear language or cursing in the music or in the videos or anything like that. The videos are like yeah, like everything is it's fairly accessible. So like there's no reason that not everybody can get into them. I mean, even the mascot himself he's kind of scary looking, but he's not really that scary looking. It's not like Guar. Or it just takes it to one huge extreme. Ben Ossick, Kris, would it be clever or self-aware to paint an orc army like British football hooligans, or would that just be dumb? I don't know. I mean, if you have a lot of football hooligans in your area, I mean, you might get your ass kicked once or twice, but I don't see why not. Could work. Be quite comical, I guess. In some circles. In some circles, I don't think they'd find that very funny, but I'm guessing that those circles and gaming circles they don't interplay too often, so I don't think you'd have to worry too much about it. Their live shows are amazing. Yeah. Oh, let's do an email. Man, I'm completely lost in this chat. And because we got a few emails we got to catch up on here. This is from Max Pedersen. Pedersen? I saw you were on live. You were on the live show again today. Again? Man, I can't even read. I sent you 2 Terminator pictures from last week. Weapons, skulls, and bases are being worked on pretty much as we speak. Do you think the highlights on are too yellow or anything else you think I should use? There was also a flash on the camera when I took these. Best regards, Max. So he wants to know if there's too much yellow. Well, I like the bright yellow. Going to the yellowish on the highlights. Do I think that's too much yellow? No. If you want to take that down a bit, I mean, you could. You could just put like a glaze of, like, say, bloodletter on that, and that would take that yellow down just a little bit. I like it. The red's nice and flat. The highlights are pretty cool. Very interesting. I'm just looking at the way the photos look here. It's just like it's sharp here, and it looks like the way it must have been the way the camera took the shot with the flash. Because the rest of it's kind of like out of focus. You got a really wicked short depth of field here. You just get that when your flash and camera are not in sync. But very cool. Yeah, like, I don't think the yellow is too much. I know some people don't like that that bright yellow to the Blood Angels, but I think if you want that really kind of bright, classic Blood Angels look, you kind of go with the yellowish highlighting. Just for, going for that classical kind of look. Otherwise, you go with just deeper, darker browns into the shadows and bringing it up to more solid reds. Like the shield work too. Shield work is nice and clean. All in all, it's very good. I like it. Send me more when you're done. Send me more. Where are we? Johan Hansbrack. Kris is the Samuel Jackson of mini wargaming. It is the voice in the beard. The voice in the beard. I don't know what that means. Man, I don't know. Prawn hand names. Nice Blood Angel terms. Yeah, I like them. They're very nice. I like the red. I know like a lot of people don't like that pure, like that old school bright kind of orangish red to some of the models. I like them. I think they look pretty darn cool. But yeah. Oro Studio. Pro tips for everybody taking photos in their minis. You gotta use the high f-stop or you'll get shallow focus like these. F8 is ideal if you want it all in focus on a mini. Exactly. That's exactly it. You gotta have that aperture wide open. Which means though you need more light. Which means that you need to use like a flash or have your lights like right there. But yeah. What he said. Spite you, yay, I made it. Yay. Matt Camarello. Has anyone painted the Salamander's primary color orange with green flames? The Salamander's primary color orange with green flames. I don't get the question. Has anyone painted the Salamander's primary color orange with green flames? Oh, you mean like painted like the Salamander's green, but instead of going with orange flames, went with green flames. So it was all just green and there was no orange. If that's what you mean, then I've not seen it. Would it look bad? Man, probably not. Especially if we went like kind of like a brighter green, so it looked kind of like, like kind of the spectral kind of crazy green fire, but otherwise, yeah. Quark, do a Bob Ross tutorial. There was a day in the office where I was watching just a lot of Bob Ross on YouTube, and I just had him going, and I was just trying to get work done, and I thought, you know what, it'd be kind of fun to do is a Bob Ross impression video, but not doing like a painting tutorial, because I mean that wouldn't convey the full Bob Rossness of it all, right? I mean, I'd have to get one of my canvases and paint an actual like 40K landscape or something, a 40K landscape. Yeah, I think that's what I'll have to do. I have to do a 40K landscape. Oh man. Lazy monkey. Happy little Eldar. Needs a friend. Let's paint a nice little happy orc over there. Exactly. Excuse me. Clayton Tate. Also, anyone reading or listening to The Beast Arises, the 30k orcs? Though the first one, it's pretty good. Okay. No, I've not listened to it. I haven't done a lot of reading lately. I don't know. Just haven't gotten around to anything. I'm busy. I say that a lot, but it's usually quite busy. And, usually at the end of the day, I'm tired. Where are we? Oi. You move one little comment and the whole thing just goes flying. Oro Studio. Even 800 lumen LED bulbs from the Home Hardware and Depot, some IKEA lamps will do. Yeah. You got to have them real close into where you have them positioned on your miniature. Now, thankfully, for most miniatures, I mean, you can have your miniature like that, and then you can have the lamps like right close by, and then you just zoom in and take a shot. But otherwise, it is all dependent upon having that aperture wide open. Matt Rondeau. We're going to paint with the almighty airbrush today. You see the power hides in your airbrush. You got to spray it out, and there it is. What?
Don't forget to make the sounds when you're painting. Otherwise it won't work.
Yeah, you got to make the sounds when you're painting. Oh, I see. You're doing it like as in the Bob Ross thing. You're like, okay, I got you. Paint with the airbrush. Got you. Joe Martinez. Kris, do you ever paint live? I like to think I'm always alive. Alive or live? Which episode was that? That was episode 60 or 70? I did a live episode for 4 hours and I painted a Space Marine. And one of the lucky viewers won it that day. I think it was Mark. Mark Hill? I think Mark Hill won it. Keep wanting to say it's Mark Hill won it. But anyway, yeah. So do I ever do anything? Do I ever do the painting live? Not often. Very rare. Mainly because, some people can multitask, sure. But I find that I can talk better to you guys, respond to your questions, and interact with you guys a lot better than if I was sitting here and trying to paint while trying to read and interact and, be somewhat informative while painting accurately. I'd rather concentrate. When I'm painting, I'd rather concentrate on all my effort on painting rather than, trying to be entertaining or anything like that, But yeah, painting live, I've done it a few times. And if you the way the brushes, the earlier episodes, I also do live Q&A, like a person asked, blending, how to blend, and I demonstrate it live, doing the blending. So I have done some stuff live, but that segment, and I've often asked about that one, and not everybody kind of likes this format, me just talking and reading emails, which is fine. Give the people what they want, right? But yeah, I've often wondered if people, wanted to go back to, doing the live demo kind of things. Of course, doing the live demo things, I got to have it set up beforehand, before doing it. And, like right now, if I wanted to do one today, not going to happen because I have to get the other camera set up and, do it and get everything ready. It's really just getting the other camera ready, but not going to happen today. So don't ask. Oh, wrong mouse. Yeah, and Prawn Hamden said, John, I used to get demos. They were awesome. Yeah, see, I used to do demos. Prawn Hamden, do you miss the demos, really? Do you miss the demos? Because from what I gathered, people, they could take them or leave them kind of thing. It was like, yeah, it was pretty informative, but they kind of enjoyed this more than, me showing stuff. Because, anybody who's a Vault member, I guess, who is a Vault member, they already get plenty of me, talking away and, painting and everything like that. But I guess, I don't know. Ben Ostick, not until after the Swedish Chef quick tips. Man, we're still on about these Swedish Chef quick tips. My God, man, that was October. We were talking about that. That was October. We were talking about Swedish Chef quick tips. Paul 0132, please do. This is what I want my vault money to go to. Henry Miles, Bob Ross does Warhammer with happy little trees. And here we'll paint a blasted out little crater. And maybe 100 orcs died here when this bomb went off. And we'll go through and we'll make sure we color this nice and deep magenta with all the little orky guts all over the place. And yeah. It'll all be about brush technique and how to create realistic guts on the ground and explosions. Happy little space orcs. Yeah, Clayton Tate. Everyone Google happy little space orc. Where are we in the comments? Oh yeah. I saw there was a question here. Now it just flew right by. Everybody's talkative today. Dave Taylor. Kris, do you ever add sound effects while you are painting? Do I add sound effects while I'm painting? No. No, because like I said, like when I'm painting, like when I'm painting for video and I'm concentrating on the painting, no, there's not a lot of sound effects. Because I'm concentrating, right? So everything else kind of just shuts off and I'm just painting. Focused in there, in the zone there. Just, it's just two dimensions, this and that, and that's it. It's all it's there. Everything else is zoned out. And so that's why I don't think it'd be very interesting, to watch me paint and me try to paint well, and you guys, be entertained by it because it'd just be, kind of over my shoulder and I'm painting and nothing, and you wouldn't hear me doing anything. It'd just be me breathing, really, is all you'd get. I don't think anybody would be entertained by that. I don't think that'd be very good videos. Mark Hill. Yeah, he won it. Yeah, Mark Hill. Like as I said. Now, which episode was that? That was like episode 70 or something, wasn't it? And Mark Hill won. It was a Space Marine I had done in the mini wargaming chapter color scheme. So if anybody wants to see what it'd be like if I was to paint while talking, while trying to do Way the Brush and just kind of sit there and just talk, yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, my son was helping me with the show that day as well. He was my switchboard operator. Where are we? Prod Hamden said, Kris, yes to live demos. Yeah, I know. Well, you see, but Prod, you're the only guy saying that, though. That's the thing. I mean, I'd like to listen just to one guy. Two guys, maybe. But just one guy, maybe. We'll do it on a special occasion. The new Forge World, a Stormbird, looks awesome. It looks very Space Marine-y. It looks like I would expect a big Space Marine Stormbird would look like, I suppose. It's this big clunky looking thing. It doesn't have the same style as a Thunderhawk. It looks more like a big, toilet seat bowl with a bunch of guns all around it. Now, mind you, it's very cool because it's a toilet seat bowl with a bunch of guns all around it. But otherwise, yeah, it's just this kind of big flat thing. And it just, I guess maybe what they were trying to imitate maybe is the big gunship from Avatar, I guess, maybe. Maybe that's what they were going for, the big gunship. Maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know, but otherwise, I don't know. I'd have to see, I guess, more pictures of it, and yeah. Bjorn Leo, I just finished my Dreadball team, Space Monks. Too bad you only did one tournament of Dreadball. Yeah. It's very unfortunate that we only ever do maybe one segment of a new game, that we don't have ongoing segments for games. Because I mean, like, there's a lot of games out there that, you know, I'm curious about, and I'd like to see us cover. You know, well, you got Drop Zone Commander. It would be a good one. Dystopian Wars. I love Dystopian Wars, and I wish we covered Dystopian Wars. You know, man, like, there's a whole bunch of games out there that we could be covering, and we don't. And, you know, really, we should. But it's a question of manpower, and where do we put our people's hours? Because I mean, really, it's only Matt and Steve and Quirk and and I don't know if we've officially announced him, but because we no longer have Leland, who was our fourth content producer, but we also have another content producer coming out, and yeah, and so, like, really, I mean, like, you know, there's only so many bases to cover, and, you know, we don't have the people for it, right? It's just the way she goes, I guess. But yeah, it'd be great if we could cover all the games. It'd be fun if we even covered, like, board games and maybe a little bit of video games here and there, I guess. But I mean, video games are covered to death, really, and I don't think you guys really care about our opinions on video games, as we're mostly tabletop games, and it's a different hobby altogether. I mean, it's gaming, but tabletop gaming and video gaming, they're two different things, two different beasts. Excuse me. Man, these comments just come flying right by. It's like nothing for a while, and then bang, also we have, you know, Ben Osick. Kris, we have Ash's channel for that. Sure, we got Ash's channel for that, but again, he's one guy, though. Oh, he's a couple guys, but for the most part, Ash is just one guy. And, you know, I mean, you know, he doesn't cover Dystopian Wars. You know, and I like Dystopian Wars. Dystopian Wars is fun. So, you know, like I said, there's lots of games, and I mean, the way Ash covers things is going to be different than the way we cover it. I mean, you know, Ash has a completely different headspace for reviewing the game or presenting a game, rather than when we produce or, you know, showcase a game. So, you know, yeah, you could have two different videos on the same subject matter and both be equally entertaining and valid, and that's good. That's only a good thing, and it's a good thing for the people who do produce the game as well, yeah, because they're getting more exposure. But hey, where are we? The Mobius. Ash does loads of different games on his channel. Yeah, he does. He does tons, but again, like I said, he's only one guy, though, and, you know, you're not gonna get the frequency in which, you know, because I mean, like, how often Ash can do 40K games, you know, once a week, whereas Mini Wargaming can do them, if we wanted to, 5 days a week, right? Kind of a big difference there. Mobius, it's not meant to be an attack on Kris. It's just the gang. I just wish there was more variety. Oh yeah, no, it's not an attack. I don't see it. No. No, don't care. I mean, more variety is always better. Because then again, I mean, like, without variety, then things become stagnant, and then also things drop off, and then people go, well, why did it drop off? What happened? Like, at what point did it go sterile? Don't know. Whereas if you constantly have things, you know, thriving and, you know, growing, then, you know, I mean, nothing really becomes stagnant, because when somebody gets bored of something, and then they can go over here, and then they go, oh, you know what? I used to like how they used to do it, and so they come back, and then, you know what I mean? And so it's all It's all better if there's a lot more variety to things. Oh, where are we? Alucard, hey Kris, what do you use your ard coat on? What do I use ard coat on? Usually, whenever like ard coat in the bottle, because I mean, it used to be called ard coat in a spray. I don't think it's called that anymore. It's purity seal, right? And in the bottle, typically I only ever use that, like say for on top of gemstones or on top of surfaces that I want to give like a glaze and make it hard and kind of slick. Usually I don't ever use it like a finishing varnish where I'll just kind of like take a bit of it and I'll just, varnish the model. I hardly ever use that. I only ever use it for a visual effect, to give the impression of, hardness, right? Like a beetle shell or something like that. It's got like a hard curved surface, or, an eyeball or a lens or a gemstone, or, something along those lines. Otherwise, I really don't use a whole lot of ard coat. If I'm sealing a model, I'm using the airbrush and I'm using a matte sealer or a semi-gloss sealer to seal the paint job. Usually. Ross Dealey, title, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? 5 cords. 5 cords of wood. Prod Hamdens. Yeah, good narrative campaign would be something I would watch. Quirk Orcs versus Tau was the last I watched. Okay. The Seven Faces 3. How often do you hit those Minotaur ghost hints, Kris? How often do I hit those? Am I hitting those? Yeah, exactly. I'm just cutting into a fine line and just doing it straight, or do I freebase it, or do I just heat it up under a spoon or something like that? Yeah. The painting junkie. You just sit there with a spoon, trying to heat it up.
You say that like it's a joke.
It is. Anyway. The ghost hints I use, it's situational really with the ghost hints, because, I mean, what else are you going to use them for other than to tint on top of a surface and change the look of the underneath layer and the top layer and create a whole new look. For example, you have gold metallic and you hit it with magenta and you make red and it shows through and you've got this red metal showing through. Or you go with black to white with gray gradients in between, and then you hit that with just a little bit of blue ghost tint, and you create a fairly even blue, dark blue to light blue, and you get all the color gradients, right? It's not that often that I use ghost tints, but whenever I do need them, it's always better to have, them on hand. That way, you can do these kind of effects that, but oftentimes I have like a full assortment of stuff around, but I don't use it all the time. Most of the time, like the paints I use most of the time are black and white and red, yellow, and blue. Those are the colors I use most of the time. If anything, if anybody wants like the most common paint used, black and white, really is going to be everybody's answer. Is black and white. Those are the colors you use most of the time. Everything else, it varies. A percentage varies wildly from whatever kind of color schemes you're doing. I mean, somebody who somebody who's painting, Space Marines, and say is doing Thousand Suns. Yeah, they're going to want ghost tints. Because they're going to want to do, or like the 30K Thousand Suns with that metallic red. Yeah, you're going to go through a lot of metals and you're going to go through a lot of ghost tints doing a Thousand Suns 30K army, because they have that metallic red to them, and everybody wants to duplicate that, right? So, yeah, it all depends. The Mobius. Oh yeah, crap! I actually have a question for Kris. Best steel metallic paint to use in airbrush, please. And what would those? And what were those metallics you loved that you bought in a set with the lovely golds? Oh, that's the scale 75. Yeah, and I would definitely recommend scale 75 metallics. Yeah, Quirk's in the studio, people. That's who's giggling and everything. Yeah, because he's typing in the comments here, but he's also here. He's in his office. Yeah, scale 75. This is the gold set, and this is the metal set, and they also have a copper set as well, and I've been meaning to pick that up. But like the metallics, okay, like the first one here on the right, black metal. This is really great. It's darker than like lead belcher. It's like about 50% darker than lead belcher. And so it's really great for getting that pure, dark metal look without having to add black to lead belcher to make it dark. This gets you that really luminous, like lustrous, metallic, black metal look without having to add black to the paint. And so it's a really, really great start for doing something like that. And then, of course, you got thrash metal, which gives you more of a gun metal. You have heavy metal, which is, again, it's a bit lighter. And then you have speed metal, which is almost like Runefang steel, which is really, really bright. But you also have this other one called white alchemy, which is like basically it's just pure metallic flake. Then, of course, it's got three other colors in there. I didn't really use cobalt alchemy. But yeah, it has a blue, green, and a purple in there, and then the gold also has a few colors in there as well. But yeah, a lot of fun. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, scale 75. Those metallics, they flow in the airbrush and they flow on the paintbrush wonderfully. The golds I've used on the paintbrush, and they brush on just smooth. Really great. Airbrush, go on. Really great. Again, the paints just flow really, really nice. I can't speak to if the entire paint line is really awesome like that. But for the metallics, again, like I like to kind of like look at other companies' paint brands, and I used to kind of like to start at the metallics because the metallics are really kind of a hard one to kind of grasp. And opaque colors, it's pretty straightforward. Opaque colors, I mean, it's kind of hard to mess up a pure pigment and whatever acrylic binder is with it. It's really hard to mess that up, other than how thick or thin they produce that binder. But the metallics, what they're using for metallics and what the binders, what the ratios are like, and how it flows and everything like that, that's really the telling part of a paint line, is their metallics. And scale 75, I really like their metallics. And Jim White, Kris is into his metal. Omega, Halo, Thrash, and Heavy Metal. Are we talking about Maiden again? And now Slayer? Yeah, there's Slayer. Slayer. No, but that's, yeah. Because, I mean, it's called Black Metal, Thrash Metal, Heavy Metal, Speed Metal, and White Alchemy. Yeah, but that's the names of those paints. I kid you not. Excuse me. Throat is getting wickedly dry. Feels like there's a wad of cotton in the back of my throat. Not that I know what that feels like, but that's, if I can imagine what it feels like, that's what I imagine. Lazy Monkey, email time? Yeah, let's do an email. This is from Thamir. And I think it's just showing off some of his work. Because there was no question in his email. Really good stuff, though. Is this his work? So you just sending me pictures of stuff. No, I think this is his work. That's really awesome. Hold on here. Yeah, I think this is... Yeah, this is his stuff. So it's Abaddon. beating up a bunch of blood angels, or is it horse beating up a bunch of blood angels? We'll assume it's Abaddon because he's wearing black armor and he's all scary. Of course, little blood angel ripped in half. Very, very cool. I like it. What's this guy, like an obliterator or something? Big scary dude. These rivets, what are these rivets from? Do you make them or do you find them from something? As I often see them, and they often look like the same thing people are using, and it kind of has like this kind of brass sheen to it. And I've often wondered what it is that people are using to do these tiny, tiny little rivets. Caught in the betrayal. Nice work in the ghost faces in here. OSL is kind of cool. Not too bright. Not too hilarious. Everybody knows, I think by now, that I'm not too fond of hilarious OSL on a model. Yeah, I really like this. The whole composition is really nice. Very cool. I like it. And that was from Thamir. Thamir? Am I even saying that right? Thamir? Thamir. Thamir. I assume I'm saying that right. There was no text in it, so I guess we were just supposed to admire his pictures, and that was really great. That was a really nice piece. I'm going to assume he did that for a competition of some sort, and I don't know if he placed or not, but it's been a while since I've seen any kind of like white dwarfs or anything like that. I don't know if I was ever featured in like a white dwarf or what have you, but very, very cool. Where are we in the comments? The Mobius. Thanks, Kris. I have a lot to paint of 10mm knights, so I was going to airbrush a metallic. Yeah. Use metallics? Yeah, definitely. I would go. I don't think you can go wrong with this paint set. And you get pretty much your dollar's worth. Like, it's not. They don't cost quite as much as like GW, but you know, they're up there. They're not cheap or anything like that, but they're good, pretty darn good paints. Like I said, they flow really nice out of the brush, and they flow really nice for the paintbrush as well. Lorenzi Raven. Kris, what about Grey Knight players? Grey Knight player. Kris, what about Grey Knight player? Grey Knights player. What about him? Grey Knight player? Are they bad people? Are you asking if that's the question? Grey Knight players? I don't know. That might have been a topic I missed. There was a whole bunch of comments flying by, so sometimes I miss stuff. Yeah, you might have to elaborate on that, Lorenzi. Lorenzi? Legion painting. Oh, Kris, enlighten me on how to paint boar boys. Like the pink faces and the nice brown fur. Go get it. Kris is painting mustache wisdom. Like the boar boys getting that pink in the faces and then the brown of the fur. Well, you can always start off with like a lighter brown in the face and then highlight it up to a pink. So you still have those hints of brown in the creases, and it just goes up to a pink. And then that brown is also your transition color into the fur. You'd also could paint the deeper brown, or even reddish if you want, and blend it into the brown, wet blend it, and then have your pink as your highlights. It's also another way to go. But yeah, if you're just layering it and you're just gonna do a whole bunch of them, yeah, I would go like a deeper brown. Say for example, like like Mournfang brown. That's your base. The entire thing, face to the tail, right? And then you start adding pink to it to bring up to the face. And then you also add, say, I don't know, Shabti bone or something like that to the fur to start highlighting the fur. So that way they have a similar base, but they're going up in two different directions as far as like how they're highlighted, right? So hopefully that kind of helps. Heresy. What are we talking about? Heresy. I don't know. I don't know. We're talking heresy anyway. Yeah, Paul's like 0132. There's a lot of heresy in here all of a sudden. Yeah, I don't know. What's all the heresy about? I don't know. I missed it. Lord of Midgets. Hello, Kris. I have come to derail your chat again with complete nonsense that prevents you from teaching people to paint, so I won't get taken over by them. Okay, why? Is that why they're talking about heresy? Did you say something? Yeah, we're already there, Lord of Midgets. That's what Barfing Sheep says. We're already there, dude. John Bess, how would you do a black glow effect? A black glow effect. A black glow effect. Well, you'd have to give me an example of what black glow looks like. I'm trying to think of exactly like what a black glow, because I mean, like, okay, if we're talking like, say, a black light, which is kind of like this deep purplish color, then you could go with that and you could run with that, right? But if it was like a pure black, then you have to make sure that your surrounding colors are going to show that black well. But essentially, I mean, like, you can treat it just like any other OSL if you want. So say, for example, the guy's holding a black orb and his armor is, say, pure white. And you can do this orb black, or maybe he has just those hints of purples in it and stuff like that, and you can have those hints of purples and black radiating from the object onto the model. But I think it often have that kind of negative photo kind of look to it. I don't think you'd get that. I don't think you'd convey that sense that it's black light, right? Because it's just not, black light just wouldn't show up like that. Yeah, a black glow. Yeah, black light like purple. Yeah, exactly. Like, is it a black light? So, yeah. Quirk. Kris, why is there lotion on your desk? We already went over that last episode. I'm not answering that one again. Just I think you can just guess from the title of the last episode. You can guess why that's there. Lazy Wiki Quirk, you'll find out after the show. Yeah, the black glow. I'm not. Yeah, that's kind of a tough one, because I mean, the black it just would be entirely blackness. I mean, you'd have to point me in an example of like what kind of look or style you're looking to convey. Like, is it from a movie, or what I mean, something like that? Like, what exactly are you trying to emulate? Ben Osik at Kris, have you seen the new corn demon from Forge World? Looks super cool. The new big corn demon from... No, I don't think I have. New big corn. I'll have to look that up later then. David Taylor, just paint it as you would everything else, assuming black light exists, or it would work as the same thing as every other light. So, going by that theory, would you paint up everything? Say, for example, if you're imagining a zenithal type light source that was hitting him, but then where the black light was, it was nothing but black? Would you assume that's what you're trying to convey? I don't know. It's different. It's different. It's a challenge, to be sure. Nothing that I've kind of given any kind of thought to. with the barfing sheep. Dear Emperor Lord, what is this? Ben Osling. Lotion, Mountain Dew, and baking soda sounds like a bomb to me. Lotion, Mountain Dew, and baking soda? Yeah, that is a bomb. John Best. From the Riddick movies, the engine exhaust from the Flyers. From the Riddick movies, the engine exhaust from the Flyers. That's a black glow? I'm going to have to watch those again. Is that what he's talking about? The black glow like that? Yeah, I'll have to watch those again. Be interesting anyway. Let's do another email. Prawn Hamdens. Is black light not just anti-shadow? Anti-shadow? Getting into some deep philosophical discussions though. This is another one from Mass Max. A little more Blood Angels. This is something else I painted up for a friend. He didn't really want me to go crazy on the base. I wish I had the option to do more, but was denied. And as a side note, I'm really not happy with the lights on the side on the front, but just wanted it done. Well, this was just something to show and tell others than the Terminators. Best regards, Mass Max. Pedersen. He said, don't go crazy on the base. So he didn't. So it looks like just simple like flock and sand on the base. He's got the flyer. Looks good. Nice and clean. Use a little bit deeper color in the recesses and the shadows and stuff like that, but looks fine. Just get a little bit more contrast. That looks good from here, though. Not bad scorching. I think I'd be a little mindful of how thick or thin your highlight lines are when you're running along the edge panels. Like, see, you got them nice and thin here, but then it's like a little bit too thick on these areas. Just be mindful of that. Engine glow. Those things are glowing hot, it looks like. Looks like a combination of airbrushing and paintbrush work. Very good. Very interesting. I kind of like the engine glow. That's kind of that's different. I don't think I've ever seen that somebody do like the engines are just glowing hot like that. Like they've been pushing it so fast that, you know, the engine nozzles are glowing hot. It's very different. Very cool. The wear and tear on the wings, typically you see them on the leading edge of planes and stuff. I mean, you'd see them on the back too, but typically it's the leading edge because you have like the most friction at these points, and then carrying away. So it's usually like the leading edges on planes and stuff like that, where you get the weathering, the tear, the wear and tear. I kind of like that engine glow though. That's really cool. Thank you, Max, for sending that in. That's very cool. I kind of dug it. I kind of like the glow on the engines though. That was really kind of neat. I think it'd be a little bit more convincing if you kept the glow up a little bit tighter at the ends of the nozzle, not so much the entirety of the nozzle, because then you got to imagine how hot that would have to be for that entire thing to glow. Whereas just at the very end, where all that heat is, and just that very end is glowing, I think would convey, you know, the real kind of, you know, how hot that is. But very cool. I like that. Thank you for sending that in. Back to the comments. Excuse me. David Haley, kind of like the reverse of fire Fire on the miniature rarely looks like fire, but we can all assume it's fire. As soon as you can change the color, you end up having to explain that it is fire. Whoa, what? I don't get it. Jim White. Episode 106, Black Light, Heavy Metal, and Deep Philosophy. I kind of like that. Black Light, Heavy Metal, and Deep Philosophy. It sounds like we're all sitting around getting cooked on something. Lazy Monkey at Kris. Weathering on the Alerons? Alerons? Don't know if I spelled that one. Yeah. The weathering on the Alerons? Is that how you say it? Anyway. It makes sense in a way, since they move, and so have more weathering due to how they work. I suppose. Well, I mean, like, cause like you can imagine, okay, because everybody knows what what it looks like when airflow flows over a wing, right? And the weathering on the leading edge of where the airflow starts makes the most sense because there's the most friction there. The air typically is passing straight over the wing, but then depending on how steep the shape is of the wing, the air can catch again, I guess, at the end of the wing and cause more friction at that end part, right? So if the flaps are moving, ailerons, yeah, I guess they would get more weathering, right? Because they're moving, and so they'll take on more drag. So yeah, I guess, sure. I mean, it's fantasy either way you cut it, right? I mean, you can look at real airplanes, but they're not going to the speeds that, you know, we're imagining that these things are going at, you know, in the 40K universe kind of thing. So, you know. Where are we? Clayton Tate. I love the sound of giggling quirks. That sounds so weird. Fallen Hero. I just wanted my 15 minutes of fame. Okay. I don't know what he means. What's he talking about? Ishab. It's pronounced ailerons. Ailerons. There we go. Need a coffee. Ailerons. It's the word of the day. Ailerons. Aileron. Aileron. Say it with me now. Aileron. Ailerons. Jim White. Kris partially explaining aerodynamics, okay? I was kind of explaining aerodynamics on how it pertains to an airfoil on our planet. But I mean, space marine planes, you cannot tell me, looking at those and even slightly knowing how aerodynamics works, can those things actually fly? Okay, you cannot tell me that those things can fly, other than those thrusters on them produce so much damn thrust that it doesn't matter, and it really all it is just a rigid structure, and it allows those things to fly because there's just so much thrust out of this engine. It really doesn't matter. It's just pure thrust that just gets them wherever they're going. And they're not actually, you know, flying anywhere. They're not gliding. They're not moving with the airflow. And no, I don't know crap about aerodynamics. Just what I remember from my high school and college days. Quirk. Hey, Kris. What do you think of Privateer Press's new no Warcaster game type idea? I like it. I mean, you know, it seems like kind of like what War Machine's kind of always tried to get away from anyway, was the whole infantry game. They always wanted to bring the jacks in, make the jacks tougher, and then, you know, they end up making it more like, you know, the infantry game again. And so now with no Warcasters, well, you know, you're just going to get this infantry game again. You know, but I think it's kind of cool. I mean, it also, because, I mean, like, from a character kind of standpoint, War Machine is always about these characters, and these characters are always in these bazillion different battles. And, you know, like there's a chronology to the characters. And so how can this character be in here and here and here and all these different battles, fighting different scales of battle, and you know what I mean? Versus, you know, if you had, you know, a generic kind of character or even a generic kind of warcaster who could kind of just lead your forces. And, you know, you don't, it's kind of like 40K where you know, it's not like Abaddon leads every damn army out of the out of the Eye of Terror. Sometimes there is this other, you know, Black Legion captain who takes the force and goes out and, you know, runs amok, right? So, you know, same kind of thing, I guess. Oh man, are we still talking about aerodynamics? Yeah, Lord of Midgets. Everything can fly, just slap enough crap to it. Yeah, exactly. It's bad when the second best aerodynamic plane design is the Orc Fightus. Yeah, exactly. And the Orc Fightus, they actually have a proper wing design to the model. Space Marine flyers don't. Lazy Monkey, yeah, Kris, like a Boeing engineer said, put enough engine on a brick and then it will fly. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, that's what Space Marine flyers are like. It's like a brick with enough engine thrust on it that it can just do whatever it wants, right? Like a Thunderhawk gunship. No way in hell does that fly. It's got little wee wings, this great big thick fuselage, which is not even aerodynamic in the slightest, but it's got 3 gigantic thrusters in the back that carry it wherever it's got to go. And it goes into space as well. So it can go space to atmosphere and then back to space again. So it's got that much thrust that it can do all that. I know we can sit here and argue this crap till we're all blue in the face. But when it's all said and done though, it's all fantasy and it's not real. You know? And I don't think, and I think 40K tries to go about the technology of stuff like the way Star Wars does, which is a good thing. That you don't have to explain the crap why things work the way they work. You don't have to explain that. It just works. It's not important how it works. It just works. It's what it does. And I think that's fine. It's not like Star Trek where they got to explain how every little thing works and how many, you know, like how many doodads and positronic things are, you know what I mean? Like just it doesn't need to be explained. It doesn't need to be explained. It just works. Dave Taylor, Kris, all the stuff 40K and you're complaining that the ships aren't realistic enough? Yeah, exactly. Tyler Bortel, 2 words, Tau Flyers. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, I mean, Eldar Flyers look like they could fly. Yeah, right. No, like it's all fantasy. And of course, I mean, like, okay, here's something we have not even encountered ourselves, right? Okay, if something's gonna fly, now maybe even the Space Marine model, like the thinking of how it works, might be the correct one because the atmosphere of Earth to say Mars to say Venus, okay, they're 3 distinct compositions, thicknesses. A flyer like an Eldar flyer might fly really well in an Earth type atmosphere, but might fly really horribly in a Venus type atmosphere versus a Mars type atmosphere. Whereas a Space Marine flyer, because it's all just thrust, it'll fly the same in any of the environments. And so maybe the Space Marine flyer is the better flyer because it's all thrust. It has no aerodynamic qualities to it because it's just thrust. Whereas the other flyer looks like it requires, some aerodynamics to it, right? Lee Welton explained it away with fictional anti-gravity things. Yeah, there we go. Oh, man. The Barfing Sheep, episode 106, Flying Bricks. It just works. It just works. Yeah, it just works. Don't have to explain it. It just works. You missed it too. Kris describing the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars. Yeah, that's the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars. Star Trek wants to explain everything and make everything seem really plausible and realistic, like in that sense. And Star Wars doesn't. That's just the way it works. That's not the point of it. And I think that's why the prequels for Star Wars kind of failed, because they were trying to explain everything. They were trying to explain everything, and I think that's why they failed. Because in the original trilogy, they didn't explain it. It was about the characters. The story was about the hero's journey. And whereas Star Trek, the original stuff, they don't so much talk about the technology like in the movies or anything like that, but it's all more about the characters. But, if you really want to get into the technology side of things, you can. And, they talk about, how this is plausible and this and that, whatever, kind of explain some key points in the story. But otherwise, usually it's about the characters as well. But any good TV and movies is going to be about the characters, not about the underlying, minutia of tech. Not necessary. Lazy Monkey, episode 106, Maiden, Metallics, and Aerodynamics. I like it right there. That sums it up right there. Maiden, Metallics, and Aerodynamics. Too bad we couldn't make that rhyme somehow. Maiden, Metallics, and Aerodynamics. And aerodynamics and arrows dynamics. Some aerodynamics. Oh man, Lord of Midgets. Remember the first Star Wars films has Han saying he made the run in less distance than anyone else. Right. Yeah, well, everybody knows that one. The parsecs are unit of measurement, not distance, or unit of distance, not time. Omega Halo. That's the same about Stargate Atlantis. Amazing show. They use about 10,000 words to explain how you pour water into a glass. Yeah, I mean, you don't need to explain that stuff. If you're a script writer and you're explaining that kind of crap, very nice.
No, it's aerodynamic.
Okay, here, let me see this thing. Okay, Quark's got. This is the new what? Avenger?
It's the lightning.
The lightning. Okay? It's not aerodynamic because this edge has to be thicker than this edge. It has to be tapered in the back. But because it's essentially got this one big thruster engine, which goes into two for some strange reason.
And four on the bottom.
And yeah, but I mean, they're pointing straight down. They don't even look like they rotate or anything. Do they rotate?
Yeah, a little bit. They're on ball joints.
Oh, okay, so it's like a Harrier, but the same function as like a Harrier. And, it's got square leading edges. It's a brick. It's not. You can somewhat imagine this thing being aerodynamic enough to fly, but the wingspan, I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense because it's a big brick. It's just got that big friggin' engine and like, okay, you gotta look at the way the engine design is as well. The air is coming in this way. Okay, the pilot's sitting right here, and his cockpit takes up quite a bit of space there, so which means that the engine has to come down, and to see where the engine nozzles are, they have to come back up again. So there's all sorts of turning and twisting of energy inside there, and thruster engines, jet engines, don't like to work like that. They like to work in a straight line. So it just doesn't work. Anyway, where are we? David Taylor, Kris, why do you assume Warhammer 40k physics work as Earth physics? You're right. You shouldn't, right? But it's all taking place within this galaxy, and as far as we can tell, the physics of this galaxy are pretty consistent the whole way through. And I mean, light travels only at one speed. Air pressure, we know how air pressure works. I mean, the denser an atmosphere is, the more you have to change the aerodynamics if something works. It'd be like it's like swimming. It's like something going from an air mode to a water mode, and then swimming. You know what I mean? Like a craft going through Venus's atmosphere would be more akin to something swimming than it would be flying. And essentially, swimming and flying are essentially the same kind of thing. You know, if you look at, you know, like the way penguins swim is the same as how other birds fly. Their motion is the same. Their wing movement is the same. They're simply moving forward and grabbing and moving back. And that's how birds work too. It's just they're so light that they can stay on top of those, on top of the air currents. Anyway, what were we talking about? The actual physics of 40K. Like I said, we could go on like this for hours. We could all sit here till we're all blue in the face, and you know, go on and on about the physics of Star Wars 40K. And you know, not get anywhere. Oh man. John Martinez, I'll trade you my job for yours, man. You have the life. What, sitting here BSing about the physics of Star Wars and 40K? Oh, man, let's do another email because we're behind on those anyway. This is from Alex, a.k.a. Paul0132. Hey, Kris, finish up my Archon and Urgol from my newly adopted Dark Eldar army while watching the live show today. Was wondering if I could get some tips on how to do eyes before I move on to the succubus. Thanks, Alex. So you want to know how about doing the eyes before going on to the succubus. Okay, well this guy, this model here, he really doesn't have eyes, does he? He's like these kind of sniffer holes in his head. Isn't that the way they describe this thing? Is it doesn't really see, it like smells everything? Either way, you can leave them like that, or you can do like a tiny little dot inside there, and maybe there's like a little glow in there, like there's this kind of like spectral kind of glow. He's all scary. That's great coloring on the cloak. That's really great. I like that. I like how it feels like different sources for each little patch. I like that a lot. I like the little hint of red coloration where it's all sewn together. Very creepy. You got the little face down here. I like this. I like this a lot. Very cool. Is his face all scratched out? That's going to freak me out. Or he's got like war paint. Oh, he's got the war paint. Okay. I say it's going to freak me out, man. Oh, is that it? Oh. Okay, and so you wanted to know how to do the eyes before moving on to the succubus. Or do you mean doing eyes in general? So if you mean eyes in general, well, if we're doing like the succubus or the Archon or whatever, I mean, there's a few ways you can go about that. The way I usually go about doing it is I usually end up painting the whole face, and then very carefully, I will take black, apply it to where the entire eye is, and then I'll take white, put that over the entirety of that, but leaving a little bit of that black as an edge, and then I'll put a little, almost like a little triangle of black into the white, so that it feels kind of like that bottom portion of the eye, and so it feels like it has that bit of a curvature. Even though at a distance, if you look at it up close, you'll see it's this little triangle shape, but at a distance, it looks like that, you know, a roundish shape, right? And that's often what I'll do for an eye. I've seen some people, they'll do it where they'll paint the eye first and then paint the face. because that way they can come back in with the flesh tones and go over the eyelids and clean up and push the eye further back, which is also another good method as well, because sometimes whenever I mess up, I end up having to do that anyway. So, you can go about it that way if you like. But typically, I just go black and white. I'll usually just do black, cover the entire space, and then white, and then black little triangle shape there. And then if I have to clean it up, I come back in with some of the flesh tones and just kind of push it all in again. But yeah, fine detail brush, go into steady hand mode, and do what you can. Get comfortable, stay relaxed. Keep your paint, not too thin, but relatively thin. Keep it flowing nicely. And, you should be fine. Practice, I mean, if it's the first time you're doing it, then, the first time you do it is not going to be 100% the way you want it. But that's fine because, you do it, more and more, you'll get it the way you want it eventually. Omega Halo, Kris, are there any hotels near you guys? I'd love to come out for a month or so. I even remember Matt saying he'd come up with something that'll give that sort of information, like a leaflet. Yeah, it was an idea, like, working with other like local businesses to like, advertise, basically cross pollination of, ideas and stuff like that, and better businesses of I don't know what the hell is that, commerce, bank and commerce and stuff like that, where they come together and they all work together because like for Niagara Falls, advertise for Niagara Falls, hotels work for them, casino, bars, whatever, right? They all work together because they all basically, all the customers are always going to come back around and around, and so come mini wargaming, hotels, food, things like that, right? No, we haven't put any kind of package like that together or anything like that. But yeah, there's hotels in the area. If you do just a quick Google search on hotels in Welland, Ontario, yeah, you'll find the prices. Of course, Niagara Falls, a lot of fun. Although it get pricey in the summertime though. It gets kind of pricey around here, I guess, too sometimes. Just because we're so close to the falls. But yeah, you just got to do a little bit of research. Holy crap, what time are we at? Man, it's already 1:32. How many emails we got to go? How many more emails we've got to go? Got a few, actually. Oof. Where are we in this comments? I don't even know where we are. Can't even tell what's going on in here anymore. Because it's just gotten way off track. Shaven Skaven. Nice name. I was experimenting with airbrush washes. So wasteful, but shockingly nice results. And much faster than hitting one model at a time. Cool. What were you doing? Send pictures, man. Send pictures. Send pictures of what you were doing. Because I like to see, like, I know, like, a buddy of mine, when he was, doing more with just like his regular kind of airbrushing, it was more like the hobby brush. It wasn't like, like these, it wasn't like a Badger Patriot. It wasn't like the dual action. It was like a single action airbrush. But he would load, like the shade wash in and then spray the entirety of the model. And in fact, he would spray so little that it wouldn't fall into the recesses, but it would just tint the overall surface. And, that was actually kind of cool, rather than just simply, tint the surface and get into the recesses. It was just an even one-tone kind of thing over the entire model, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know if you'd need the shade wash to do that. You could have simply just took another color and just did that, but, yeah. Dave Taylor, just don't ask Siri about information about Niagara Falls. Why? LBMZ Minecrafters, I'm late, but I made it. Well, welcome. Legion Painting. I used to have 2 snakes, but then they were given to someone temporarily, and we only took one back, Socks, and then the nicer one, Gills, we left behind. What? What? Lord of Midgets. Kris, I just glued my thumb to something as super glue fumes blinded me. I can't read the chat. Send help. I mean, I don't want to laugh, but what? I glued my thumb to something as super glue fumes blinded me. Fumes or fumes? Them fumes. You know what's a good stuff to have around when you are working with super glue, and if you are the kind of nut who is going to end up gluing himself, is Uncure, Debonder. Get yourself some cyoacrylate. Cyoacrylate. Frick, I can't even say that properly. The long form of super glue. Anyway, Debonder. Super glue debonder. Keep that on hand, whatever you're doing, because otherwise, yeah, you could always end up, super gluing your hand to something, and then it'd just be embarrassing. Lord of Bridget's secret weapon washes are very good for tinting models. They're great for appreciating. Yeah, there we go. I haven't used any of these secret weapon washes. I know they make a bazillion of them, and they come in some really bright, vibrant colors. But I mean, to check them out. I just haven't, gotten around to them yet. Legion Painting. Kris, while you were talking, my sister's snake almost died. Okay. Oh, that's what you were talking about, the snakes. Got you. Dr. Xantos, Kris, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck? Hard to say. I would have to say the 100 duck-sized horses, because a horse the size of a duck would only be about this big, and his mouth would only be about yay big, and his bite wouldn't be that bad. It'd be bad, but it wouldn't be that bad, and their teeth aren't sharp. And if he was to kick me, it's just a little kick, so it's just like little legs just kicking you, right? So it wouldn't be that bad. Versus fighting a duck the size of a horse. Now, a duck doesn't have any teeth, but they do have those bills, and those bills, they do have ridges, and they do hurt. And they're not, ducks aren't weak. I mean, they got really powerful neck muscles, and yeah. But I mean, I imagine even a duck the size of a horse, I could probably still outrun, versus 100 duck-sized horses. Could you outrun them? And I don't think you can. I think you'd eventually get overtaken by 100 of them. But they wouldn't have a lot of weight to them, and you could just kick the crap out of them, right? Yeah. So, yeah. 100 duck-sized horses. I'll take them all on, because you just kick them all day long. And just yeah. Yeah. Anyway. And horses aren't even aggressive, really. Like, not really aggressive. Whereas ducks can be quite aggressive. Male ducks, anyway. Anyway. Omega Halo. Duck-sized horses, you can stamp on them, and a horse-sized duck could snap your neck instantly. Yeah, exactly. Well, because his bill, right? Because a duck the size of a horse, that bill would be huge. That bill would be like that big. That could grab your head. That duck bill could be that big, right? And like, there's no getting away from him. And imagine how, like, because you know how they shimmer around dirt and stuff like that. So if you were hiding from him, he can like shimmer his bill around and grab you, and then just yeah. So a big duck like that would be scary to face. Lord Images, how did my life go so wrong? I'm listening to some nut job on YouTube. I don't know. LBMZ Minecrafters. Kris, have you seen the new Wolfen models? I have seen them. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the show. I'm not 100% behind them, but I wasn't 100% behind the original ones either. They looked a little too much like bear, or like classic Wolfman type things. Whereas these new ones kind of have more of this lithe kind of appearance to them, which is a little bit more cool, I guess. But I'm not 100% behind the look of the faces. I don't know. Something about them is I'm just not behind on them at all. But yeah, they're pretty cool. Also, too, the way they've colored the armor shouldn't be right. They should be pre-heresy armor, shouldn't they? Because aren't Wolfen like pre-heresy duders? Or maybe they changed the fluff on pre-heresy Wolfen, or the Wolfen, not pre-heresy Wolfen, the Wolfen themselves. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, when all this stuff drops. David Taylor, I think a horse-sized anything could kill you. Could a horse-sized horse kill you? Yes, it could. If you fell off, bump your head. Which I did, by the way, when I was a young fella. Riding horse, fell off, bumped my head. Yeah. Scared the crap out of my parents. Because they thought I had this big thing on my head, and it was like another brain coming out. It's awful. They thought they might have brained my damage, but I was okay. Gul'dan, Darkness Incarnate. But yeah, keep the fighting with the Stormcast and the Dark Elves. Here, have a cloak that rends all your guys, because all you have is chaos from the starter box. Okay. You missed it too. Why would anyone pay attention to what anyone leaves in the comments on YouTube? I don't know. Why? Why would you? Why would anybody? Because sometimes, even reading some of the troll comments are kind of funny. You get these people who troll all the time. I mean, it's really unfortunate that you have such venomous people out there that want to leave such hateful comments. But sometimes it is funny. For comedy's sake. If it was laid out for comedy's sake. Otherwise, I don't know. Email. This is from Kai Sidell? I'll say Kai. Anyway. Hey Kris, thanks for the great work. Small question. I recently started up a 30k Alpha Legion army and went for a bluish turquoise metallic scheme. A friend of mine now asked me if this could be adapted to Sons of Horus, but I'm a bit stuck on choosing colors. I did mine with the silver basing and then worked on with my airbrush and a Tamiya clear blue and green. Do you have an idea on which color would work to achieve the dark color of the Forge World Sons of Horus? Is there any clear color that could match? I attached a picture of my Armillus Dynad work in progress as a reference of my work, and one on his head, which I'm really proud of. The Hydra was a hell of a work. Pictures are taken from my phone, so the quality might lack a bit. Thanks, keep up the good work. Greetings from Hamburg, Germany. So, let's have a look. Ooh, look at this. Very cool. It almost looks like more like Alpha Legion to me than Sons of Horus. Or is that what? This is Alpha Legion. He's got the little thingy bombers. Very cool. I like the color though. That color is just glowing. And a little bit of damage you got going on there. Very cool. Awesome stuff. I really like this. What are the spots representing on his flesh? Are those like scales, or is it like a tattoo or something? Is that it? It's only 2 pictures? What a tease. Oh man, I thought we were gonna get some more stuff in there. Arg. That was a tease, man. I wanted more. I wanted us to be able to delve right into this guy here. Okay, so very, very cool. I like this. The colors are really, really great. Now, as far as the getting this to look like if you're going to do the Sons of Horse, but do it in a metallic scheme like this, you're looking at going more green than blue, because the armor is a green blue. So now what ratios it would be, I don't know. It'd have to take a little bit of playing. I do believe that Forge World has the clear color for it. So all you got to do is just lay the metal down and then lay that color on top. I do believe they have that color. If not, you're going to have to mix it. But yeah, is there any clear color that would match? No, you'd have to mix it. You'd have to mix it with like take your green and your blue, and because it'd be kind of tough. And then also you have to kind of pull it down a bit, so you'd actually have to probably add a little bit of like a black or something like that to pull the color down just a bit, because it's not a vibrant green. It's not like a wood green like salamanders. It's a deeper desaturated kind of green, right? So yeah, it'd be interesting trying to kind of pull that one off. Just trying to think of, yeah, you need the blue and the green, mostly the green, a little bit of blue, and you probably need a little bit of black, just to desaturate it a bit, and then you can spray that on top of the metal, and then you should get that kind of pre-heresy Sons of Horus look. But either way, the pictures, very cool, Kai. I thought you were going to send a whole bunch more there, the way that email was looking. And send more, because I'd like to see the progress on this fella, because he's very cool. He's very good. Very good. Comments. Oh, where are the comments? Don't know. The Balefire Forge had to leave the computer, so I missed the part where you showed you my mail. I'm Thamir. I sent the last time when someone asked about the Abaddon, then threw in Karn and a Contemptor because I could. The rivets are small 1mm beads with no holes. Think I got them off eBay. Ah, okay. 1mm beads. Also wanted to hear your thoughts on the models. Glad you liked them. Yeah. No. Thoroughly enjoyed it. That was awesome stuff. Abaddon. I like the painting on the sword, the armor. Little guts and stuff like that on the base, everything very cool. I was wondering just if that was done for a display or if that was done for competition, or what's the story behind that whole thing, because that's a lot of work for that conversion, and I'd imagine it was done for competition of some sort, or maybe it was a commission, I don't know. But yeah, just like to know what the story was on it, that's all. Dave Taylor, no idea. I usually do Element games. Okay. Prawn Hamdens, are there any good gaming groups that play Malifaux Infinity 40K? I'm about 1 hour northeast of Element Games, which is a bit too far. I don't know where Element Games is. I don't know. Lord of Midgets, Kris. Tiki Tiki Nabu, Razel, Randu Quack, Horse, Kiklos, Sardu, Click, Click, Tug Bungo. What the frick was that? What does that mean? What the hell did I just read? Tiki Tiki Nabu, Nazel, Randu Quack, Horse, Kick Loss, Sardu, Click Click, Tabungo. What? Did I read that right? That's not a typo, was it? Good grief. Anyway, as I'm completely confused by that. This is from Thomas Collier. First ever mini I painted when I was 12. And so let's have a look here. This is the first mini he's ever painted when he was 12. Well, we're not sure how old Thomas is now, but it's a little rough, but it's not bad. Doesn't look like there's any primer. This is probably before. Usually that's one of the first things we realize that we need is primer. When we get into this painting gig, we realize, you know what? How come my paint won't stick? Because you need primer. But you're very good. For 12. And mine's probably about the same. It's, you know. It's, yeah. But you can say, you know what? When I was 12, that's what I was painting like. I wish I can show you guys, you know, one of my really old pieces that, you know, like, you guys would go, geez, that's crap. You guys would go, oh my God, Kris, really? That's crap. That's, you know, that's terrible. Don't show people that. Lord of Midges, I wonder how utterly impossible to understand and make stuff and still get Kris to read it. Yeah, I just read it, man. He must have Kris just summoned a demon. That's what I was thinking as I finished it. I was like, wait, am I summoning something? Like, how do I know that I'm not summoning some sort of demon, or I'm cursing at people in some foreign language that I don't know? I could be sitting there using a whole bunch of curse words and, you know, in like Swahili or something, and I don't know, and I just insulted a whole group of people. I don't know. Dr. Xantos, dude, come on now. I can barely read English. You think I'm gonna be able to read that? That's some Lovecraft stuff there. That's Fanugul, Magugulnath, Cthulhu, Rayleith, Wagalith, Naglith, Flenek. That's like reading Tolkien. That's like reading Tolkien's Elvish, and that annoys the crap out of me. Tolkien's writing. Tolkien's writing is an exercise in and how many times you can talk with a lisp. Really, is what it's like. Oh man, it's so annoying. It's annoying. Just, you know, foreign languages don't just have to sound like that. I mean, I realize that, you know, like modern day Spanish in Spain, it kind of has that lisp kind of sound to it, and I don't know why that does, but it, you know, it does. And so I don't know why Lovecraft had to have the name Butcher has spoken it. Yeah, but okay, but it's okay because it would never work because I've completely butchered it. So I might have summoned the anti-Cthulhu. Ooh, the anti-Cthulhu. There's a thing. That's a thing now. The anti-Cthulhu. The Mobius. There's vast swaths of Africa Kris could never visit. He's probably caused an international incident. Yeah, exactly. The Barfing Sheep. Are you a Lovecraft fan, Kris? Am I a fan? He interests me. I find his writing very, very relevant to his time. His writing style and you know, yeah. It's almost like, I don't know. Like, I haven't read too much. I'm still in the process of, you know, getting through his works. But yeah. But am I a fan? I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan. It's very interesting, but, you know. I mean, same with Tolkien. I mean, people go on about Tolkien on end, and I mean, like I said, I can't. Man, like reading Lord of the Rings, that's an exercise. And you throw in all that Elvish crap into there that he's made up, and it's like, oh my God, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Omega Halo. The Malarion. I've read most of his books, but I've been reading Silmarillion for about 2 years, and I won't lie, I'm about 20 pages in. Yeah, it takes a while. It takes a while to get into it because you can go on for like 5 pages about the texture of the curtains or something. It's like, come on, really, really. Oh man, Lord of Mustache, Lord of Mustache, Lord of Midgets, Lord of Mustache. There's vast swaths of Africa no one can visit. You hold your passport and hope they're not into international travel on your mustache. Oh man, Wargan. I've thrown some pics into your inbox. Check for the reply. I forgot to add the images in the first one. I'm going to assume you're Fabian, right? I'm going to assume you're Fabian. If you sent me 2 of the same stuff, work in progress. If that's the case, then I did get your emails. So no worries. We will cover them at some point. When? Not 100% sure, but at some point we will. David Taylor, yeah, the number of songs in The Hobbit too. I think Tolkien likes songs. Yeah, well, what else were we going to do back in the day other than sit around and smoke weed and drink beers and sing songs? It's not like they had Twitter or YouTube or anything like that, It's not like they had Fail Army on, in the Shire. You watch Fail Army. So, of course, you're going to sing songs. Anthony Chambers. Oh, my God. I finally caught you live. How do you layer gold colors on top of black prime models, as in Black Legion Casper screens? Okay, wait. How do you layer gold colors on top of black prime models in Black Legion? Are you talking about gold colors or like gold paint? Because if you're playing gold paint on top of black, that's probably like one of the best ways to go about it, other than say a dark brown, because the metallic likes to sit on top of that black base, and it gives off the most luminance like that way. Silver, any of the metals, any of the metallic colors, they sit on top of a black base the best. That's the best way to show off metallics, is on top of a dark base. You can do it on top of a light base, but you got to build the color up until it gets really kind of smooth. But otherwise, black is really the best way to show off metallics. Now, if you're talking about golden colors on top of black, then you're best to build up from the darkest colors first, then build up to the lightest. So if you're going, say, if you're doing it like a non-metallic gold and you started with black, then you're best to start off with your deeper browns or deeper oranges first, or brown oranges. And start off with there, build a couple layers like that, and then just slowly build up to your yellows until you finally reach that point. But otherwise, yeah, if you're going to build on top of black, build up from your darkest colors up to your brightest. And if you're talking about metallics, well then it's pretty straightforward. Just lay your metallics down. You can start off with your darker metallics if you want and, build it up. But it's really the best way to go is laying on top of black. So hopefully that answers your question, Anthony. Yeah. Rail, what product do you use on your stash? On the stash, it's bacon grease. Bacon grease. It's not bacon grease. It's some sort of product. I don't know. It smells nice. It smells nice. It smells nice, and it smells manly. What time we at? 1:59. Holy moly. Where does the time go? I don't know. I have no idea where the time goes. Talking about all this crazy crap. I don't know. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Pipeweed now. Everybody's talking about pipeweed. Because what exactly is pipeweed, right? What exactly is pipeweed? Are we Are they sitting around and smoking dope all day, or are they simply just they found a tobacco that is kind of nice? Because even regular tobacco, you do catch a bit of a buzz from it. Like people who don't smoke, tobacco, you do get a buzz from it. But is everybody in the Shire like rocking the ganj and they're high as hell come the end of the day? and because it would make a lot of sense why the people would never grow very big, because I mean, they're not working out too hard, and they're not doing nothing. I mean, they're sitting around getting high all day, and yeah. Homabado, there he is. Well, Kris, read this. Holy crap. Tanuka Bowers, Zingen Mul, Dingen Alanin Z, Zwin, Well, Super Lilik. Congrats to you. You will succeed. Congrats to you if you will succeed. If you will succeed. I don't know what the hell that was. Tanuka Bouters, Zwen Mool, Dinigan, Aline Z, Zwen Lel, Super Lilik. That almost looked like some Scandinavian type. That's probably just gibberish, isn't it? Or I've just everybody insulted everybody in Sweden and Norway and and everybody's like, God damn it, Kris, can't you read? Oh man. Omega Halo. The weed didn't stunt the Hobbit's growth. They were literally made that way. They were made that way. Lord of Midgets. Did you just call midgets lazy, Kris? Did you? Fight me, dwarf tossing at dawn. Spite you, episode 108 or 106, rocking the ganj. Yeah, well, isn't that what the hobbits do? They rock the ganj all day long. I mean, because isn't that what Sauron? Isn't that what he faults Gandalf at? He's like, dude, if you weren't, if you were paying attention to stuff instead of getting high all the time, I mean, you would have known the ring was there that whole time, right? He's like, so that stuff obviously impedes judgment and your thought processes. So yeah, so basically, what's the deal with all these hobbits? Really is the question one should be asking. And is that maybe that's why they make such good conduits for avoiding evil and the ring, because their reaction time is really quite slow in comparison, their thought processes. You know what I mean? They can hold the ring, and it's not like he's tugged at it by his ambition, because as everybody knows, pot smokers are really kind of low on the scale for ambition. And so he's holding the ring, and he's like, okay, well, I could take over the world, or I could go eat this cheeseburger. I'm going to go eat this cheeseburger and put the ring away. You know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe that's why the hobbits are good conduits for holding onto the ring, because they're high. They're high. They're literally high all the time. Oh man, I don't think we can go anywhere. I don't think we can go anywhere but down from here. And it's already 3 minutes past 2. Saruman didn't smoke the pipeweed. I think he did, because when they destroy Isengard, he's got a bunch of it in his stores, right? He's got a bunch of it in his kitchen. He's got big barrels of it. So I think he rocked it. But I mean, he was a casual smoker, right? He was, but he was evil. He was ambitious, right? And so, maybe he was into harder drugs. Maybe Saruman was about harder drugs. Maybe he was doing coke, or whatever form of Middle Earth type version of coke there'd be. I don't know. Right? Everybody's, because you can't fault anybody for using something that's from the earth, green, good and wholesome kind of stuff, versus some hard industrialized kind of drug that's and maybe that's another lesson within the Hobbit, because of course many lessons can be drawn from the Hobbit, and many many things are drawn from the Hobbit, and maybe that's another one of them. Maybe it was Tolkien's stance on drugs, the big pharmaceutical companies versus growing in your backyard, and herbalists, and what I mean, maybe Tolkien had a stance on that as well. I don't know where any of this was going. Oh man, and the chat's just going around and around. Hence the white beard. Yeah, you don't know if Saruman was into like shooting heroin or something like that. Because you see him in the movie, and he's like, oh, he's sitting in his chair, and he's all, right, like he looks like a heroin addict. He looks like a heroin addict. So like he was waiting for his next shot, and you see him in a couple scenes later, and he's all, yeah, he looks like a heroin addict. So I'd guess that Saruman was into the really harsh stuff, not the good wholesome green earth type stuff, right? Although opium comes from the earth too. I mean, I don't know why everybody's freaking out about that stuff either. But anyway, I don't know why we're even on the drug topic. But if you have any questions, comments, want to show off what you're working on, send them to Kris@miniwargaming.com. Join me on Facebook, Way the Brush Facebook page. You want to keep the discussion going there, show off what you're working on, or you want to just post whatever. Way the Brush t-shirt. You want to show how manly you are, or what a connoisseur of all good and wholesome t-shirts that you are. I've got nothing on that one. I still have yet to figure out a good way to pitch that one, the t-shirts. Because I know like not everybody's manly. As I know there are a few female viewers, and is it manly? Like, I don't want to be manly, for God's sakes. Just want to look good. And you will, in a Way the Brush t-shirt. There we go. Yeah. I think that's it. We're done. We can't plug your chair. Plug your chair. And of course, everybody, Quark has his own YouTube channel now. What is it called?
It's just Quirk. I don't have enough subscribers to actually change the name of it yet.
Oh, it's just Quark? Just type in
Type in Quirk Morning Drive. It pops up.
Quark Morning Drive. Now, Quark has been doing like a little vlog series where he's coming in the morning and he's just recording and it's kind of like a sit and talk, but with Quark. It's about, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah, it's about a 20-minute drive.
20-minute drive work, so it's enough time for him to film something. And, it's actually pretty good usage of his time, really. And then also he's doing the Saturday morning
Gaming. So
Saturday morning gaming as well. And that's pretty much what, just any kind of game? Or
last week it was Eternal Crusade, and today it was Halo 5.
There we go. So Halo 5 today. Is that why the helmet's in here today?
Yes.
Oh.
The helmet's in here today.
Okay, I gotcha. Were you wearing the helmet?
It's like this big.
Oh, I don't know. Well, it wouldn't fit my head. It'd fit on top of my head, maybe. So, yeah. So, everybody, feel free to, check out Quark's channel. He just started it. He's, he's had it for a long time, but he's had other crap on there. But so he's just starting to get into this whole independent videoing for himself kind of thing. And, producing the kind of stuff that he wants to do, So basically, it's so he can show hardcore nudity on his channel. It's really what he wants to get into.
Pretty much, yeah.
And use whatever kind of language he wants, and say what he wants, and provide his own kind of voice to the things he really cares about, which is the same things he cares about, what everybody else cares about, which is hardcore drugs and nudity.
You really got a nail on the head with that one.
Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys next week. Hopefully, I'll be able to talk a little bit clearer as I'll be over this damn cold. Man, I freaking hate being sick.